Shai, fifth game in 7 nights, but you guys gave yourselves a chance there in crunch time. Really high-level game. What was this like out there on the floor going toe-to-toe?
It was good. Obviously, it's one of the better teams in the league. It's what you play the game for, to play at the highest level. They gave us a really good game, and they earned it tonight for sure.
It seemed like you guys were able to leverage gravity from you and Chet and Doug to generate good stuff for Isaiah and Lou, and you continue to trust that as a team. What was that like for you all as a kind of continuation of what you guys do out there?
Yeah, it's just how we play basketball. Trust all five, offensively and defensively, and play from there.
Shai, part of the team's success obviously has been your almost like robotic, constant performances, 30, 35 and 5 almost every game. And now tonight, it felt like the Clippers slowed you down in ways that some other teams haven't this year. I just wonder what you saw from them in terms of what they did to slow you down.
They were physical and disciplined at the same time. They have guys that have been very high-level defenders for a long time. And hats off to them tonight. They did a good job defensively.
You talk about them being physical and disciplined. Earlier in the season, you said that when guys are getting physical with you, you just try and stay playing your game. When guys are being disciplined along with being physical, what are some things that you feel like you can do to offset that?
I feel like I got to where I wanted to get to tonight. Didn't make as many shots as I like, but just how it goes.
Shai, Coach gave you guys a lot of credit for just being able to hang around throughout the night just to give yourself a chance down the stretch. Just what went into that for you guys through the first 3 quarters when it just felt like they just kept throwing punches throughout the game?
Yeah, we've been there before. You expect that coming into a high-level team's building. Obviously, they're super talented. They're going to make shots and go on runs and have energy behind them. We know what it's like to play on the road, and we expected that.
You got Joel right here. Go here and then here. Go ahead.
Shai, when Mark was in here, he was just talking about passing by the Clippers locker room and hearing and feeling a general sense of excitement for beating you guys. I just wonder what that feels like for you as a guy that's been here through the rebuild, through from the beginning to now feel teams, if you feel it at all, get excited beating you guys.
I don't know. I don't care for a team's reaction. I don't care. I've never worried about. I never noticed it. I never pay attention to it. I really don't. I really don't know or care about any of that.
Over here. Gallery.
Hey Shai, just kind of going back to when I first met you. Now I started to talk to a lot more high school kids. Some of the top players in the nation. Every player, it seems like that's a guard brings the you up as a person they watch and look up to. Same with Stephon Castle. He talks about the shoulder bump. Talk a little bit about your growth in terms of that, and then also playing with physicality, because every coach is starting to mention you and your physicality. But I feel like you've had the shoulder bump since, when I first met you in 2018. Talk about that move, and then, just the building of being physical and, just still being young and still being able to play physical and using that move.
Yeah, it's something that I've kind of just figured out just with me playing the game. I was undersized for most of my youth career. So I had to figure out different ways to score and stay on the floor. And that was just one of the ways that helped me. And then in terms of the kids, it's just it's an honor. Obviously, you've been in that position before, looking up to guys that you play now, and the roles reversing is a dream come true.
Do you think the Lakers and Clippers threw their best punch because you guys are the Thunder and you're so high in the standings and they wanted to beat you guys?
Yeah, I think both of those teams are chasing something, as well as ourselves. So at the end of the night, it's going to be very competitive. But yeah, to answer your question, we are a much better opponent than we were a couple years ago.
Joel, you said you have one more?
Yeah,
All
Shai.
right, this is the last one.
Shai, it feels like the common denominator in here for guys that come through here is just mentioning physicality. You know, it felt that way with the Lakers. I just wonder if you feel this team has, responded to physicality generally the way you would have liked throughout this year.
Yeah, we play a lot of small ball. We don't have the most size, clearly. We know that going into every night. But I think our record reflects how we've been able to play through it, and kind of the fight we've had throughout the first part of the season, and making up for some of that lack of size and physicality.
Thanks, Shai.
Alrighty.
Jalen, high-level basketball game tonight. What did it feel like out on the floor, possession after possession, going at those guys and them going at you?
Yeah, exactly at high level. Those are always games that are really fun. Obviously, those are games you want to win too, but it's good to be in those on a consistent basis, and we're lucky enough to be in two of them back-to-back here, so definitely learn a lot from it. And yeah, those are always fun to be a part of.
You guys went up one late, and then PG kind of does his thing. As you guys are kind of accumulating more and more of these experiences, what's that like to kind of experience a wave like that and maybe be able to start to pick up more of those things that, like, in those situations in the future, you guys can do at a different level?
Yeah. I mean, outside looking in, people that probably aren't in the NBA, guys are very good at the sport. And, sometimes there's nights like that. I mean, like Shai, I feel like other teams probably think the exact same way when it's us. So, we've been on the other end of it a couple times, and you kind of just got to tip your hat to some of those plays. But he had a good run, but basketball is about a lot of other plays other than however many minutes you can dissect. So, throughout the 48 minutes, there's a lot of other stuff that we probably could have picked up. Usually guys like that, when they're able to kind of get in that zone, they were comfortable early on. So probably take away a little bit of his comfortability to start the game, I think would have helped. But, he's a good player. He made a lot of tough shots, especially down the stretch. So some of those just got to kind of tip your hat. He had one in the wing that Luke contested and just went in. That's something that he probably works on and made the shot.
Gentlemen, the common denominator for everybody who stepped in here tonight, it feels like they just mentioned physicality, and I think that was the case for a lot of yesterday. I just wonder if you feel like throughout this year you guys have responded to physicality the way you like.
Yeah. We're bumping, we're battling down there. I don't think there's any night where guys aren't competing or being physical. Teams are going to try and do that because we're young. We understand that, and I thought we've combated it pretty well over the season. I think our record shows for that too.
Jalen, you hit the three to give you guys a lead with 3 minutes left. What did you feel during that early fourth quarter stretch to kind of close the gap there?
Just playing hard. They made a couple big runs, and we kind of looked at the score, and it was still like 9. The average point swing in the NBA is like 12, so we definitely understand runs come in waves. It's usually about who can make the run the last. So just sticking with it. We thought we got a couple good looks that didn't go. I had an untimely turnover, and we were still down by like 4. So we got good stops at the end. Like I said, PG, and they hit some tough ones down the stretch. So some of those just kind of tip your hat.
Yeah, and Mark was just mentioning it, and you brought it up there. You guys were just hanging around the entire game. Like, it never really got out of hand at any point. What did it take for you guys for the first 3 quarters just to keep this game within arm's reach?
Just playing hard. We have a pretty mature team in understanding, what it takes to kind of just stay in the game, and I think you have a pretty good feel for what's going on in the game. Our huddles are getting tighter, where we're kind of talking through what guys are feeling in the heat of the game, and understanding leads don't look as bad or as good as they may seem in the moment. And like I said, 12 points for any team is not really as big as it looks, especially early on in the game. You can get kind of down if it's like 21-9 just because of the look of the disparity, but leads are not as close or as far as they seem.
Anybody else? Here we go. We got last two right here. Yep.
Phil, I was curious, this Clippers team is pretty loaded, especially with the top talent they have.
Yeah.
Curious what your impressions are. You've played them twice now. What have you made of how they've looked, especially with James now kind of spearheading that point guard position for them?
Yeah, they're figuring it out. They have a lot of future Hall of Famers on that team, so it's definitely fun to compete against them on a consistent basis and, get those reps. But they're starting to figure it out. They share the ball really well. Definitely puts the teams in a dilemma when Paul George is sitting on the wing, just kind of waiting, or Kawhi or whoever it is. So, they have a lot of guys that can go, and, like Russell Westbrook comes off the bench. So I feel like that probably says enough about that team. So, they're a tough matchup, and, we're still in the game with them and competing at a high level. So it's fun that we get those reps with them.
Last one right here.
Yeah, I feel like, first off, your new nickname is Trendsetter for me. First off, the swag, and then two, it seems like every time I talk to a NBA scout or coach, there's a new player coming out of Santa Clara, and I think that is largely because of you. Brandon Podziemski, now we have two more prospects coming out. Talk about trend setting and creating your own lane, especially in the college ranks, showing that you can, be drafted top 12 out of any school. And then were you surprised during that time when you got drafted by OKC at 12 too as well? Because honestly, it was a surprise for me, even though, I did some breakdowns of your game. But just talk about those two elements too.
Yeah, I don't want to take too much credit for the Santa Clara thing, just because guys are still going in there and playing really well in the school. I think it's cool to be one of the first people to do it. Like, I know it was a long time before Nash, I think, was the last one. So just kind of trying to figure out my own path in that regard. And we had, I think even last year we brought it up in the same interview, is just go where you're wanted. And I think a lot of guys are figuring it out, which is why the transfer portal always looks the way it does at the end of the year. But it doesn't matter where you go to make an impact, and I think a lot of people are starting to figure that out. And basketball is spreading throughout, the nation and kind of the rest of the world to where, talent will get found. So I think people are starting to catch on to that. And then, what was your second question?
About, going 12. Were you a little shocked by that? Like,
Nah.
Not at all?
No.
Okay, and then, just going into that, like, I know you don't want credit, but a lot of players are coming from Santa Clara right after you. Like, does that, make you feel good in a way? Like, even seeing Brandon Podziemski, go, get drafted as high as he did. Like, just seeing that trend and giving a platform for guys, coming out of schools like Santa Clara too as well.
Yeah, no, I'm extremely proud of them. It does fill me with a sense of pride that somebody else is coming from my school and being able to do it. I don't even think from my school. I just think a lot of mid-majors that go under the radar. I think whenever you can get somebody in the league from them, it's kind of a big deal for me. So yeah, I'm super grateful that I got to go there and have that experience for sure.
Basketball game, high-level shot making. What did it feel like out on the floor tonight as you two teams just went at each other the way they did?
Yeah, I mean, it was two really good teams going back and forth. We expected a really hard fight from them. We gave it our best shot, came up short on some game plan stuff. But, the energy was there, the intent was there. Like I said, just two really good teams going back and forth.
You said, when you say fell short on some game plan stuff, could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, some of their key players just, being comfortable for the majority of the night on, most of their shots. So, we just got to eliminate that from the jump and give ourselves a better chance.
You mentioned in talking about the game plan, just guys getting comfortable. PG had 18 in the fourth. I just wondered what your point of view was there as that sequence unfolded and what you saw maybe went wrong with him specifically.
Yeah, I think, it started off just letting him get comfortable with the game early on. He made some really tough shots. I'm not saying, everything was easy, but if we just, key in a little bit more focus from the jump, maybe slow a guy like that down. Can't let him get comfortable.
Yeah, and Mark was just in here talking about, when he passed by the Clipper locker room, that he felt a genuine sense of excitement from them for beating you guys, which I imagine hasn't been the case in recent years. Just how long have you felt that sensation, if you felt that sensation at all from other teams as you played them and maybe lost a few times?
Yeah, no, we definitely are, feel like we're gaining respect, from every team in the league. we've got a really good squad, and I think day in and day out we show the league what we're capable of. So just a veteran team like that going up against us, which we won the last time we played them. I think it's just us gaining respect throughout the league.
Isaiah, you had 6 boards tonight, and then last night against Lakers 7. Just how big of a focus has that been for you, trying to find those opportunities around the glass?
Just being active and helping our big fellas rebound. They can't do it on their own, so just trying to do every little thing to win a game, whatever it takes. But just being active, being scrappy, fighting for those loose boards.
You're out there when you guys go really small and other teams go pretty big. What's the mindset for you, not just you, the whole team, to try to stay competitive in those lineups?
Yeah, just be real scrappy on defense. Once we get the board, let's try to run them. If we're smaller, we can be faster than them down the court. But I think just starts on the defensive end, being able to secure the ball, and if we can do that, we can get out and create some advantage in transition.
When a team like this and have so many guys that can get going at any point, what makes it tougher for you guys to defend them? Like, what's the thing that makes it tougher for? Because obviously, it was PG tonight. Harden had a few threes in the first half or in the second quarter. It seems like they came at you guys in phases.
Just the fact that they're all great players, and they all can create with the ball in their hands, which it forces you have to guard with all 5, but you also have to be able to guard your matchup. You have to trust each other, when it comes to help side and rotations and things of that nature. So, it just, makes us have to focus in a little bit more.
Anybody else? Couple more. Go ahead.
Yeah, Isaiah, just wanted to ask you, that 2020 class, there's probably only 3 guards still in that second round still playing, and you're one of those. Talk about, coming, like, you know how it is, like being the second round pick, but having to go through the adversity and then getting here and staying consistent, having guys like Micic, a lot of talent on this team, but still being able to stick with your role and then being able to play big minutes and getting that opportunity and what it takes to get to that point.
Yeah, first and foremost, I think it starts with your work ethic. You have to be in the gym every night doing the stuff that not everybody else is willing to do. When you're coming out the second round, you have a really short leash, and you have to be able to make an impact as soon as you step on the floor. So I realized that when I got here, after doing my first 2 years of Philly, I realized as soon as I step on this floor, I gotta make impact. But all that started before getting on the court. With everybody else, that started in the lab.
And then with Arkansas, you see how now that program's starting to come on the rise. Do you feel like you were a part of that? Building that program up. We see Nick Smith. We see a lot of guards starting to come there. A lot more commitments. How is it seeing Arkansas starting to build up because of guys like yourself, building that foundation?
Yeah, man, not just me, but we got a lot of guys. Another one on our team, Jalen Williams. But it's a lot of talent in Arkansas, and I think just making, putting Arkansas on the map, putting the world on notice, just helps in that aspect. But it's always been a lot of talent in Arkansas. I'm glad that a lot of guys are starting to stay home, and we build up the organization. Coach Messer doing a great job over there. Just hope to keep seeing it rise.
Anybody else? Thanks, Isaiah.
Thank you.
Mark, you guys took that 1-point lead, and I think they outscored you 14-2 the rest of the way. What did you see as the big difference maker down the stretch besides shot making?
Yeah, they made some plays. Credit them. They went and got that at the point that we took the lead and closed the game well. I thought they outplayed us for the majority of the 48 minutes tonight, but we did a great job of hanging around the game and making a couple pushes at it to take a lead in that spot was positive. We gave ourselves every chance to win that game, and then they outplayed us in the last 3 minutes. So credit them. They got that game.
Mark, Shai's had a good enough season to this point where I think we could comfortably call these past nights, I guess, relative off nights. I wonder how you would assess these past 2 days and just how you would assess the team's ability to maybe supplement the deficiencies on a night like tonight.
I don't overreact to. You really can't overreact to a week in an NBA season. Just because of the length of the year. No team or player, is perpetually consistent during that stretch. The thing I'll say is these games are highly informative for us. I think that's their best punch. They're almost fully healthy. They had a game plan that was specific to us, and that's how you learn, kind of about yourselves. It's a good barometer of where we are as a team. It also teaches us the way that other teams see us and where we need to improve. I thought the Laker game was similar to that. We've had a couple of games like that recently, and it's exciting to know that we're drawing teams' best punches out of them. And now we need to calibrate and learn what we can from that and use every game to improve like we always do.
How do you feel like you guys did matching their physicality?
I thought offensively we did a pretty good job. I thought for most of the night offensively we were able to move the floor, move the scoreboard, get to our spots. I thought, that's a team, they shoot a ton of jump shots. They're a rhythm team. They thrive on comfort, and they're able to create their own comfort, and then they leverage each other to create comfort and rhythm, and you got to really be physical to break that. And I thought, we had a lot of stretches of the game where we just were not physical enough to break their rhythm. It's hard to do. They're really good players. They're a really good team, but to beat them, that's what the recipe is, and we did that for pushes of the game, but not consistently enough to win.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you about J-Dub. Over these last, 8 games, shooting over 65%, 25 points today, 10 of 14, really blossoming in his second year. What have you seen from him in terms of his growth now? Now that we're at the halfway point.
Yeah, he's cooking right now. He's doing a great job of finding a balance between being aggressive and hitting the gas, but also maintaining his efficiency and maintaining kind of a spirit of team play. He still makes the right passes regardless of the circumstances, and so he's found a great balance, really grown as a player to this point. Still is competing his ass off defensively in terms of the covers that he has every single night. He's guarding guys like this every night. He's got James at different times last night. We put him on 1 through 5. He always plays hard, even despite his recent offensive success. So obviously off to a great start. Excited about how he's grown to this point. Still needs to get better and learn from all these experiences, but he's in a good way right now for us.
Paul George didn't have too much of an impact in the first half, but in the second half he sure did. How was he able to take over the game against your team the way he did?
Yeah, his shot making was potent. They posted him a little bit to come out of halftime. You got it going a little bit there. You got to pick him up high, and then he can drive, he can handle, and then you got other guys you have to account for. So there's times where we're doubling Leonard in the post, and the ball's finding him on the weak side of the floor, and he makes you pay for those plays. So obviously, great player, we know that well, and had a great game.
Obviously, Shai is top 3 in the MVP race by many measures. What have you seen from him just in terms of how young he is and how quickly he's ascended in this league?
I'm not surprised just with the way that he works and how steadily he's improved. There's really never been a year in his career that he hasn't improved, and it's because he takes a workman-like approach to his craft. He has a great vision for himself, and he's done it inside the team and allowed the team to grow around him. I think, Dub's a great example of that. A lot of our players are. The team success we've had to this point is a reflection of that as well. So he's done a great job, and my favorite part about him is how he handles the ups and downs of an NBA season. When we're going good, he's the same guy. We lose a couple here in LA. His numbers are not as high as they normally are. He'll be the same guy tonight and tomorrow. He's just got a great temperament for the NBA season.
Mark, you have more challenging back-to-backs come, but are you proud of the way this team kind of fought through this game to give yourself a chance to win it?
Yeah, excited about that, but not surprised with the competitive level of our team. I'm surprised when we have off nights competitively, but not surprised when we have on nights competitively. These guys take a lot of pride in competing together. Tonight was our 5th and 7 nights, and yet ran through the finish line of the game, gave ourselves every chance against a really good team on the road. So this is the standard that they hold themselves to, and like I said, we're not perfect, but I'm way more surprised when we don't reach it than when we do.
Coach, I want to ask you about Isaiah and the other game against the Lakers. 7 boards tonight, 6, 2 steals, and his shot making was there tonight. But what are you seeing from him just outside of that and kind of the scrappiness and the hustle that he's showing?
Yeah, he's a lightweight fighter. He's scrappy, and it's huge for us because It allows us to play him in a lot of different lineups. It allows us to play him in a lot of different games. There's not a game situation that we can't put him in because of the shooting potency, and then also the what you're describing. And we can play small with him, which is helpful. He's just got his nose in the fight, and always does. Regardless of how the game's going on the other end of the floor, it's one of the things I respect most about him.
Coach, as far as where you are now, and at the start of the season, did you see yourself being in this position?
I don't have expectation. We just try to put one foot in front of the other and stack good days, and we'll end up where we're supposed to be, and we can rest our head on the pillow and know that we're maxing out our team at any given moment. I think we're doing that right now. I was excited. I was walking in the hallway after the game, and I could hear the Clippers hallway, and there was like a genuine excitement for that win, which is exciting to know that we're taking really tough punches from really good teams right now. That's how you get better, and it's how you get an accurate assessment of where you are. And so these ones sting. Obviously, we would have liked to win the game last night, but they're also, like I said at the beginning, very informative games for us.
What would you classify your team philosophy as?
Compete together. We want to be a compete together team. We want to stick our nose in the fight, but do it as a group, and the team's done an incredible job of that, not only this season, but from the rip.
Mark, the corner threes were notable the last time you guys played them, and you kind of mentioned it last time that sometimes if Norman Powell's open, it's not by design. I wonder what you saw tonight in terms of the rate they got those, and because it felt like they were earned differently tonight, like just the way you saw them get those.
Yeah, they're not all created equally. I mean, there's a reason they're a really tough team to beat, and it's because you've got to take care of the head of the snake. They have multiple head of the snakes, and you've got to commit your resources to that. And so those guys draw a lot of attention. If the game plan is to take away corner threes, then you're going to hemorrhage in other areas of the game. And so you got to prioritize, and there's trade-offs to every decision. Obviously, the better the team is, the harder it is to swallow some of the trade-offs, and they're that type of team.
And with Chet, because we always talk about just how he never steps outside of himself, so he might have a night where he shoots 8 shots and makes one, or he might have a night where the offense is coming to him and he goes 8 for 13 because of the way he plays, his philosophy as a player. I guess did that make him susceptible to just kind of like a streakiness in terms of his scoring?
I actually think the opposite. I think he's been ruthlessly consistent with his game so far. I mean, everybody's going to have an off night here or there, but if you stack up weeks of the season and you look at how he's performed, it's been pretty incredible for a player with as few games as he has. But the thing I appreciate about him, even in tonight's game, he just major motor on the second night of a back-to-back. These back-to-backs are new for him. It's only his 4th or 5th back-to-back of his career, and yet his motor's running the entire time. He's got a black eye. He's getting hit in the face. He's in the fight every single night, and that's going to serve him well as his game blossoms, as his skill set blossoms, as he learns the pictures more and more. That foundation of competitiveness and motor is going to serve him really well. I mean, that's his X factor.
Last thing, Mark.
Last question.
You mentioned the genuine excitement you felt from the Clippers locker room as you passed by. I just wonder how long it's been, how long you felt that sensation or seeing that scenery this season.
I mean, we've felt it. We felt it from our opponents. I mean, we're like I said, we're drawing the best punches out of our opponents, and that's exciting because, again, you want to know where you stand. That you're not going to be perfect. You want to know where you need to improve and where you're at, and it's a great barometer when the best teams are throwing their best punches at you. And now we learn from that and we grow from it, and we take those lessons forward and use them to improve, and that's what we've done to this point. It's what we'll continue to do.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Yep.